Good morning, everybody. How's it going? Happy Thursday. What's going on? Anything new? I got anything new going on that you would like to share? It's 8:20 a.m. Vince says good morning. He's already busy, ready to start his day. Anyway, what you got going on? Same old over here. Anyway, I was gonna start this video off with something and I forgot. It keeps happening. I don't like this back alley. So I get up prepared and then they removed the junk. You ready? Oh, I thought for sure that Tesla was gonna turn on Warriors Creek. Somebody else drives a Tesla in this neighborhood. Anyway, now that that's out of the way, right? Oh yeah, I wanted to tell y'all about my dream that I had. Now I remember. I said, wait a minute. They have to get their signaling in of their stocking. I mean, not stocking. Obviously, because you saw the mail truck and a Tesla. So, my bad. I didn't mean stocking. I meant a busy Thursday morning. Once they get their busy Thursday morning in. Once they get their busy Thursday morning in, I think I'm good to go. So anyway, weird stuff's been going on in that house. I'll tell you what. Which is has nothing to do with the mail. Obviously, when you saw the mail truck, obviously didn't mean stocking there. But if you're wondering, some weird stuff's been going on over there. So let's go, Benjo. Anyway, 3 minutes in, another day, another dollar, right? So I wanted to talk about my dream first. It's an interesting dream. I dreamt I was hanging out with my mom and dad. And we were in a place I guess I didn't recognize. And there I said I was like, oh, I have a fish in my wrist. We gotta wait so you can see it. I was sitting next to my dad, then my mom was saying something. And you can see a little fish through my skin. A little blue, I think betta fish or something. I saw a little bit of it, and then he swam away somewhere in my wrist. And then my mom comes over, and I guess she says something like, well, let me see. And so I show her, and then all of a sudden what was once a teeny tiny, I guess a blue betta fish, turned into like a big fish, a big blue fish, like almost as big as this coffee cup. And And it's like, instead of like being in my wrist, I guess I thought it was like a tattoo or something, like a living tattoo, a living betta fish tattoo. It was like in my wrist, it was sticking out, and instead of it being like a pleasant little, oh, I have a fish in my wrist, it was like really bad, like a scary movie. So then so the fish is like sticking out of my wrist, and it's like not a good thing. It's like not good. It was like, you see that one? It wasn't this, it was my right wrist, but anyway, it was sticking out of my wrist, and then the head part, and then there was like all these different tails sticking out too. And I can't wait to have a conversation with y'all without me feel like I'm being stalked, and not just stalked, but like talked to. It's a stalking Stockholm relationship, and they're talking to me. I can't wait to talk to y'all in a different environment, which is something that I'm not going to talk about at the monthly group therapy for my schizophrenia diagnosis that my mom, Kimmy, and Tracy have to go to. That's something I'm not going to do. So anyway, my dream, it was really cool. Just to sum that up, unlike this nightmare that I'm living in right now. And so anyway, it turns out that half a fish sticking out, and it wasn't a good thing. With all these different tails, and they had like spikes on them. It was something that had to be removed. So my mom saw, I guess she saw what the fish really looked like. And then my dad, he took my wrist and he ripped out that fish with all those tails. So I had a gash in my wrist, but there wasn't a fish living in my wrist anymore. So anyway, I just wanted to share y'all share with y'all my dream that I had. There's a fish right there. I don't know if it's right there. Anyway, so yeah, another 8 minutes on Swandale. I'm getting harassed, in my opinion. ADT. But anyway, that was my dream. I was like showing my dad, oh, there's a little bait of fish I have in my wrist. He lives in my wrist. And then my mom said, let me see. And I show her. It turns out it's like kind of not a good fish. It was sticking out of my wrist with all these different tails that were bad tails. And then my dad took it out. 1 second. Okay. So if you're wondering about the mail, the house across the street, not the one directly across my bedroom window, but a little bit further, where I've had absolutely no problems with that neighbor. In fact, actually got along well, so to speak, with that neighbor. So there's nobody there right now, and the mail doesn't, the mail postal service truck that y'all saw, doesn't stop there either. So now I can confirm there are 2 houses on this NISD school bus route that the mailman doesn't stop at. Benja, let's go. Anyway, So something else I wanted to talk about was the DNC, I guess. There was a lot of messaging. I guess the DNC thought Joe Biden was an absolute disaster, and they thought that after the June 27th debate, right? Angel's always finding a friend and a cat. But what also the DNC thought was a good idea was to bring in former Republicans, specifically like a Homeland Security advisor to VP Pence, amongst other Republicans who were speakers at the DNC. So Joe Biden, no good. The 4 years, completely fine. The debate performance crossed the line. And now there's Republican speakers at the DNC, much to my chagrin. I don't know what they do over there. They keep parking in the wrong spot. So anyway, I said, basically from what I can gather of the DNC, my mom and Tracy have been watching the DNC every day this week. That's what they've been doing. They have it on the TV in the living room. On C-SPAN, they were watching MSNBC, but they're like, we want to hear the speakers. And I said, oh, have you tried C-SPAN? And they were like, no. And so now they're watching the DNC on C-SPAN. So, oh, still there. Sorry, I thought I moved along there. So anyway, what they're, oh, she must be walking a dog. The one who says she don't know who I am. She never heard of me. Anyway, they're just chilling, in case you're wondering. So yeah, 2 houses so far in this NISD school bus route that are no longer receiving mail is what's happening. So, and you know, I remember saying, was it in 2021, 2022? I said, this is so ridiculous. Everybody's taking out their trash every Friday. Everybody's taking out their recycled organics every Wednesday. I don't think anybody in this NISD school bus route misses a day. I think that was like 2 or 3 years ago. But anyway, so they've been watching the DNC. So I've been unfortunately, I've been catching some moments of the DNC there, and they're really anti-Trump. I tell my mom and Tracy, I say, you know, this must really just only be for a specific Democrat voter, because they're certainly not gonna, I don't think they're gonna win over any independents or non-voters with how much they talk about how bad my husband is. But they did do a roll call yesterday. No, not yesterday, the day before. They did a roll call. And a lot of people, or not a lot, compared to, I guess, how many voted, but there were delegates who passed. There were Democrat delegates, and they passed. They didn't say they were voting. They're putting their delegate vote towards Kamala and Tim for president and vice president. So I thought that was interesting, and I didn't notice it at first, but my mom brought it up. She says, "Why are these people passing?" I said, "You know what? I wonder that too." But anyway, so from what I can gather from the DNC, if you haven't watched it, here's my recap. It's a lot of anti-Trump, especially from Republicans that they brought to speak at the DNC. So I think, that's interesting. It's a lot about abortion too, which again, compared to last election, 2020, when I think there was over 10 people running for a Democratic nominee. I think they all had the same abortion stance. And then I told my mom and Tracy, I said, I wonder how many people, not only are they talking about abortion, but they're talking about abortion when it endangers the life of the mother due to complications or whatever. And I said, as far as the DNC goes, I'm surprised that they're going at that angle so much. I didn't tune into everything, so I could have missed some stuff, but from what I did happened to catch from it being on the TV in the living room, they went in 2020, they were all unified, the Democrat presidential nominees, from what I saw in the debates. Not one of them varied in their abortion stance there. Whether it ranged from I guess what you can say, different kind of Democrats. There were progressive Democrats there, like I guess Bernie Sanders, and then a moderate Democrat there, which I don't know. I guess you can say Joe Biden was a moderate Democrat. But anyway, so there wasn't much debate, I guess, in the 2020 presidential nominee debates about the abortion, because they all had the same views on it. But this DNC convention, a lot about abortion, and mainly focused on abortion in cases of life-saving for the mother. So I thought that was interesting. I said, this convention kind of seems like a party, and then we hear about, also included in that is these devastating stories about complications in pregnancy, and why it's Donald Trump at fault. Every single one of them blamed Donald Trump. 45. As far as I could see, right? I didn't catch the whole thing, but I said that's such a interesting, the Democratic Party, Democratic National Convention, and it being such a kind of pep rally type situation. I'm surprised that they're not highlighting at least 50-50, maybe the complications in pregnancy, but also a woman's right to choose, right? Isn't that the whole premise of My Body, My Choice? So we have this technology here, advancements in medicine. So I just thought that was right up the DNC's alley, and here they are not utilizing that My Body, My Choice. They were very much more focused on there needs to be a federal abortion ban because of women's lives are at risk especially during pregnancy complications. And the doctor won't perform the needed treatment because it's considered an abortion. So that was my thought on that. I said, I wonder why they're doing that. You would think that would be more from Republicans, the health of the mother and the health of the baby, and more of the Democrats to be like, my body, my choice. So I just thought that it was an interesting dynamic. I'm just completely content hanging out with that cat over there. 20 minutes already. All right, I got 18 minutes to finish up my recap of the DNC. I saw there was a lot about, so it's a lot about abortion and also LGBTQ rights. And I said, I wonder why they're doing that, because of, I don't think Republicans are against, it's 2024. I mean, I think it was in 2013 we were praising Hillary Clinton for being like pro-LGBTQ. So, 1 second. Okay. He don't want to leave here. He's avoiding the back alley just as much as I am. Anyway. So they talk about LGBTQ, and I said, they must not watch a lot of Republican discourse, because from what I can tell is Republicans are not against the LGBTQ community, and I think it was in 2013 that Hillary Clinton joined that bandwagon. Said what Republicans are against is having surgery, specifically with elective surgery. I don't know what you should call it. I don't want to say genital surgery, but if you're trauma informed, then please let us know what would be an appropriate word for that. An elective surgery that transforms your gender when you're a minor. That's what Republicans are against, is from what I've seen. That's the discourse there. The discourse isn't anti-LGBTQ community. It's anti-elective gender changing surgery, and I think medication for people who are minors. They were pro-abortion, pro-LGBTQ community at the DNC. They're pro-immigration, and I say they make a 45 look really bad. And I say, they really must not listen to what he says, because he says all the time, come over legally. You come over legally, that's great. Welcome to America. You don't, then obviously there are issues. You hurt, especially at a mass scale. And what could we consider to be a mass scale? Right? 500,000. I mean, according to Congress, they only allow 200,000 green cards per year? So, according to Congress, a mass scale would be 500,000, 1 million illegal crossings. And all you gotta do is check Greg Abbott's Twitter. So they treat immigrants bad. Well, Greg Abbott doesn't. He buses them to sanctuary cities. So I don't know why he's not speaking at the convention, to be quite honest. think y'all would get along. But anyway, so I guess what I'm, oh, and they're really going with this January 6th insurrection. So yeah, those are their things: pro-abortion, pro-LGBTQ community, pro-immigration. What lines those are were a bit confusing to me, but I listen to Republican discourse, so maybe if you don't, it's not confusing to you. What else? Oh, and then the January 6th insurrection. I told, and of which, of course, they blame Donald Trump for, right? Everything went back to Donald Trump. I told my mom and Jason, I said, if everything's Donald Trump's fault, that doesn't make any sense. It has to be a little bit more than just him to be at fault there. So, anyway, 26 minutes, okay. So, which brings me to Bill Clinton, unfortunately. So I cannot believe Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton didn't speak on the same day. Hillary Clinton spoke one night, then there was another night, and then Bill Clinton spoke. So as far as projecting a loving couple, which I think the Obamas and the Bidens did, the Clintons had no interest in those optics. So much so that Bill Clinton even said, everybody had a great speech, everybody's doing great, and then he talked about Hillary Clinton's speech, but in a manner of which it would have been like, I think any wife would have been like, gave their little husband a little tap, like, don't you be telling that in public like that. And there he was at that podium, kind of giving her a little dig. I said, why? But anyway, so what I want to get to is my dad. He had always said, not always said, but I remember him saying about Bill Clinton specifically was he was a politician that was different, worked a bit differently in the sense that he was charismatic. I say, and so now that I'm older and I kind of like paid attention to all that stuff. 1 second. Okay. So anyway, I thought, I said, oh, I understand what he's saying there, because my dad's very charismatic. He wasn't, a one to be like, oh, this person's charismatic. That was just not something like, he said. So when he did say that about Bill Clinton specifically, obviously there's a little bit more to that. So, and now I understand what he was talking about when he said that. First of all, Bill Clinton didn't mention once about January 6th. I wasn't paying full attention. I might have missed something. If he did say something about January 6th, it must have been like, not a very big part of his speech. But I thought that was interesting. So Bill Clinton didn't say nothing about January 6th. He had no problems dragging on his speeches, which I think he's known for, and not in a good way. Dragging on his speeches He said he was very focused on Donald Trump. He say Donald Trump is got the qualities of a narcissist, I guess. Donald Trump only cares about himself, and that's it. Which again, like I said, as a whole, if they're as a community of Democrats, their only audience, in my opinion, was Democrats, and specifically Democrats who are extremely anti-Trump. That was their audience, who they were talking to. So if you are bored of having all of these problems not getting solved and then them blaming it on Donald Trump, I wouldn't recommend you watch the DNC. You're not missing much there. Anyway, 31 minutes. Okay. So yeah, you could really tell this charismatic thing. He was never really insulting to anybody other than, like I said, Donald Trump. And a little bit to his wife. So I wonder why they stuck together. Why don't they just divorce? Is it the money? You still can't be the Clintons. I mean, Joanne, she's not a Vollmer. She divorced my Uncle Rudy. Joanne did. Lisa's mom. I think in 2006. Banjo. And she kept his last name. She didn't change her name. So I said, it's 2024, Hillary Clinton. You know who looks bad in that situation? You do. Bill Clinton definitely capitalized on this rocky marriage, so to speak, to say the least. Let's go, Benjamin. Situation. So, but anyway, that I understand what my dad was saying when he said, "Oh, Bill Clinton, as a politician, has that good old boy, charismatic strategy." And so, with that said, I don't think I explained it very well, but I didn't explain it as well as I would like to have. But, my mom must have been, she went to the dentist probably. Yeah, she had a dentist appointment at 9, it's 8:53. There was somebody walking on Warriors Creek, in case you're wondering. So yeah, a good old boy, charismatic, wasn't mean to anybody except for Donald Trump and, in my opinion, his wife, Hillary Clinton. One second. He did talk about how Kamala worked at McDonald's, and he made this joke of when she wins presidency, she's gonna be he'll be glad because she'll be the only president who spent more time at McDonald's than him. He said, as an example of this like charismatic appeal to the better nature strategy, an example of that is he said her first job was at McDonald's, and she said, "What can I do for you?" And now she's the type of person that when she's president, she's gonna reach the highest, and she's still saying, "What can I do for you?" So, in my opinion, in my perspective, I always try to see the corruption, right? I said, look at all of this show. Where's the corruption, right? I don't have a naivety in that way. My perspective and my seat at the table is, where's the corruption? This all looks so nice and flashy, and people getting caught up in the show of it. Where's the corruption? While I'm here in this back alley, right, I don't have any distractions with that perspective. Anyway, so to wrap it up, I got 3 minutes left. So that she worked at McDonald's, was her first job. She said, "What can I do for you?" She, as 47th President of the United States, she's going to say, "What can I do for you?" And obviously you hear that appealing to the better nature, right? But the corruption aspect of it is, well, what if he's racist? Just throwing that out there. Just evaluating scenarios here. Because like I said, in 2013, Hillary Clinton finally joined the bandwagon under the Obama administration for the LGBTQ community, right? Officially. And what I mean specifically by that is marriage equality, right? As specifically what I mean by that in 2013, I think. Pretty sure it's 2013. Anyway. So, and then I think, what else could he be saying? Here he is. From my experience, someone being, every day I go through this, "Oh, this is just somebody being nice to you." And I said, "No, they're not. They don't know who I am. Not one page, not nothing. Anti-Trump. So, I said, one way you could look at it is, what if they don't get along? For whatever reason, whether it's Bill Clinton's racist, hypothetically speaking, whether he's sexist, hypothetically speaking, whether he's looks down on people who worked at McDonald's, hypothetically speaking. So another way you can look at that statement is he's saying he's making fun of her. You didn't come from class. You didn't come from a certain group of people. You grew up a certain way, looking down on that, and here you are replacing Joe Biden, and there Bill Clinton is giving a speech at the DNC, not on the same night as his wife Hillary Clinton, and talking about what she can do for them, for other people. So I took that as I said, well, you can look at it as appealing to the better nature, or you can look at it in a form of corruption, that he's not for Kamala, even though he's there giving a speech for her to become 47th president. Anyway, my video is about to end, so I hope y'all have a good one. I'll talk to y'all later. Another day, another dollar, huh? I wish my husband was right next to me. I wish I was in Arizona. But here I am in this back alley where 2 houses no longer receive mail, United States mail service. So, y'all have a good one.